Hello, everybody, and welcome to TFOL Talk, the podcast where we shine a light on awesome teen fans in the LEGO community doing amazing things, and maybe the occasional AFOL too. I'm Doodlebricks, aka Kavi, and today we're going to be hanging out with Zbricks. Hello and welcome. How are you doing, man?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. So, first off, I guess let's just kick this off with who is Zbricks and what do you do in the LEGO world?
Well, there's kind of a rocky story to it because I wasn't always into Lego.
All right.
I basically got into it obviously when I was a little kid. Started with Duplo when I was like 2 years old. Transitioned to the regular bricks around like 3 or 4. And then up until I was like 12 years old, it was mostly just, building sets, playing with them, the occasional like mod and destruction, but just for fun. And then when I was around 12, I kind of grew out of it. And then I kind of got back into it when I was around 14. I think it was when I got the Stranger Things set for Christmas. That's when I
Ah,
kind of started getting back into it. Um, and I remember when I wasn't really into it, apparently I had told my parents that they could donate all my Lego, which would have been a huge mistake.
oh, oh
So
God.
thank God they didn't.
Yeah,
I'm really
man.
glad they didn't follow my advice because I don't remember this, but they told me that I asked them to, but I'm happy they didn't because otherwise I doubt I would have gotten into it because um, the two main reasons were really the Stranger Things set and then when quarantine rolled around, I kind of, I was bored, as I'm sure most of us were, and that kind of launched me back into it. And now I've been kind of building mocks and making videos and posting on Instagram for the last, I don't know, like 2.5 years. I'm coming up on 3 in April.
Wow, all right.
Um,
So that's
and there's
fantastic.
been there's been ups and downs, but yeah,
That's great. So you've just been rolling from here basically. Just kept on going.
yeah. Sometimes the roll slows down, sometimes it speeds up. I
Of
think for a
course.
lot of people, it's always faster in the beginning. Because you have
Mm-hmm.
so much. You're just starting to tap the potential. So you have so many
Yeah,
ideas and that kind of leads you to, you know, be a lot more productive because you're so excited, and that gets the ball
exactly.
rolling really fast. And sometimes that isn't always the best thing to do, but that's kind of how it happened with me. And then it started slowing down, um, but
I
it's
see.
it's
That's
never really
understandable.
stopped. There's been breaks, but it's never really stopped.
That's great. And so, well, I guess we have the Stranger Things set to thank for kind of getting you back into this. And also, so what kind of content do you do on Instagram and YouTube?
So on Instagram, I'll mostly post pictures of my mocks. And I think I consider Instagram as like my portfolio because I'll post all of my mocks on there. Occasionally I'll post like behind the scenes on my story and stuff like that because I don't always make videos about my mocks. I think at this point especially most of the mocks I've built don't have videos,
Okay.
but there's always an Instagram post for them. So I kind of consider it my portfolio where I can look back and I can see everything and it shows my progress really well throughout the years. But I'll post, the occasional like fig barf. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty
Um,
sure.
I think
For
so.
anyone that doesn't know, a fig barf is like when you just do a post with like a bunch of just random custom minifigures that you've made, basically, and it's a it's a great name for them. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it really is. I've done a few of those. And sometimes I'll make like YouTube shorts as like tutorials and I'll post those as reels on Instagram. So Instagram is sort of like where I keep everything. But then
All right.
YouTube is where I would say that's more of a passion project. Or maybe it's a different sort of passion project because
All right.
I'm much more selective about what I post on YouTube. Sometimes it might be out of laziness, but sometimes it's just because I don't think it's worth it. Because sometimes I'll build a mock that I think is really good and I'm really happy with, and I'll think like, oh my God, this has to go on YouTube because it's so cool and it'd be so cool to showcase it. And imagine how well it could do, and how many views it could
Yeah.
get. But then when it comes around to actually like editing the video, I don't really want to most of
All
the
right.
time. I just don't really feel like it. And so I end up sort of scrapping it and sticking to Instagram, posting it on there, and then it doesn't end up going on YouTube. So nowadays I'll only really edit when I want to. There were times when
All right. I see.
I would stick to a consistent upload schedule on YouTube, but now I know that's not a good idea. It leads to burnout and it's sort of a waste of
Yeah.
time because you're not doing something you like and it's part of a hobby that is something you should like. Um, so
Exactly.
now most of the videos I post on YouTube usually aren't mock showcases because the thing that really makes me wanna make videos is when I get like a new idea. And nowadays that mostly isn't mocks.
All right, I see. So, what is it then that kind of gives you like new ideas that you would want to like say make videos from or something like that?
I think it's mostly stuff. It's mostly ideas that you couldn't show through pictures, stuff that
Okay.
sort of needs to be a video to be like understood.
Like stories
So
or things like that?
yeah, like a story is a good example of that. But like if you're doing like a stop motion, for example, you can't show a stop
Mm.
motion. A stop motion is pictures, but you can't post
Yeah.
it on Instagram and get people to scroll through them really fast
Imagine that
and it look like a
one
stop
frame of a
motion.
one frame of a stop motion on your Instagram page at a time. They just have to scroll really
Yeah,
fast to
they
see
scroll
it.
through your entire page. Yeah.
That would be
I wonder
hilarious.
if anyone's tried that.
Honestly,
Like that,
maybe. I know people have done
it's
like stop
possible.
motions just in their like camera rolls where they just will go through it like that, but
Yeah,
maybe. That's a good idea.
it's possible. That'd be really cool to see.
That would.
Um,
If anybody does that, please let us know because we'd love to see it.
please. Yeah. Just the only problem would be the loading, how when you scroll a certain distance, it needs to load
True.
like
You'd
through
have
an
to like
Instagram
load up the
page.
whole thing first.
Yeah, you need to preload it and then go back to the top and then scroll as fast as you can through the whole thing. That's the only
Exactly.
way
And
you're
then it's more
getting there.
customizable. You can choose the frame
Yeah,
rate you want and everything depending on how fast you scroll.
exactly. Yeah, on
Oh
YouTube you
man.
just kind of have to stick with it or you have to change the playback speed, but I don't
Yeah,
know. If anyone
exactly.
does that, yeah, let us know.
Yes, please do.
Um, so yeah, I did a stop motion that had to go on YouTube. Um,
All
then
right.
I did like a build showcase, like a set like unboxing and build and showcase,
Yes,
which
the
I
tall
had
neck,
never
right?
done. Yeah, the tall neck. So I had I knew I was gonna like building the set and I knew it looks really cool as a display piece. And I had a few ideas on how to showcase the building process from like just a collection of videos I've seen
Yeah.
from different YouTubers on how they build stuff. Because I think every YouTuber who posts like set builds maybe does it a little differently. And I sort of wanted to
Mm-hmm.
try out a variety of those techniques on how to make the video. So that ended up really being really fun. And then there's just videos that are sort of a story. Like if I did a video on the Facebook Marketplace on
Yes.
exploring whether it's worth it on for Lego because
That was a very good video.
I was happy to make that one because on the Facebook Marketplace I saw an ad for like 22 different minifigures in like a variety of like themes for $5.
Mm.
And I knew like
That is such a good deal.
these people don't know what they have their hands on. They don't know what they're doing. Because you usually buy a single figure. You buy a CMF pack for $5. And these people are selling 22 of them for 5. So I knew I had to get it. And then I thought that the amount they were selling for such a cheap price was so ridiculous. I had to make a video on it.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
and that sort of evolved into making it more general. Instead of, I could have just called it like a haul, just going through the figures. But I thought that it'd be cool to explore just in general if Lego on the marketplace is worth it.
I see. And that's really cool. I like how you did that. Now that you pointed out, you could have just said, like great deal minifig haul and done like a video on that, but you turned it into something a lot more interesting and more like a, I guess like a dive into like, can you get good deals on things like Facebook Marketplace and really turned it into something much more unique than just a haul video, which has been done to death a
Yeah.
million times. So that's really great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that makes me want to make a video, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know how in a lot of like video essays at the beginning, they have those little clips of like news saying the same word over and over, like you did with your
Yeah.
Monkey Kid video, with all the YouTubers saying Monkey Kid
Yes,
at the beginning.
exactly.
So that sort of thing. So I knew I wanted to do that sort of thing to get to like a build up. And I knew I wanted to
Okay.
make a video on the haul and sort of talk about Facebook. So I kind of combined those two things. And so it's really just
Nice.
having an idea that I want to see turned into reality that makes me want to make a video. Because if it's just a regular mock, I've made so many mock showcase videos that nowadays it's not, no matter how good the mock is, it's not enough to make me want to make a video about it.
Okay, I see. That's really interesting because, yeah, with the mock, you've already kind of created your vision. You're now just talking about it. Whereas with these other types of videos, the vision is the video in itself. So that's
Yeah,
that's really interesting. I see what you're saying there.
yeah. So, like for example, let's take my latest videos, the backrooms videos. Those I knew I was really into the backrooms at the time, because I was watching all the Kane Pixels videos, on the
Okay.
backrooms, and I
I
was
haven't
watching a
seen
lot of
those before,
videos.
but
Those are really good. It's this he's a 17-year-old VFX artist who kind of sort of
oh,
invented his own concept of the backrooms, and he makes like
I
really
see.
really incredible good looking videos all on Blender, and it looks like
Yeah,
real
yeah,
life.
yeah.
Like when you watch the video, it's all on Blender, but it looks real. So it's really impressive. And they're
That
really
is
well
really
made. So
impressive.
I was really into those at the time because they're so cool. And I was into like just the general lore of it when I found out about it
Yeah.
because I was thinking that's so cool, you know, going to another reality that's so like monotonous, and that's what's scary about
Yeah,
it. So I
absolutely.
kept like diving deeper, finding out more about it, and I kept wanting to build something from the backrooms in Lego. Um,
All right.
and so that kind of gave me the idea, you know, what if I do a video on building on the build process and the showcase like I've done before, but I combine
Yes.
that with giving knowledge on the backrooms, you know, because that also allows me to explore different editing techniques.
Absolutely. It's kind of switching it up more. Like you said there,
Yeah,
you're giving the thought process and lore while you're showcasing the mock at the same time, which is a great way of making a normal mock showcase a lot more engaging and stuff like that. So that's really
yeah.
cool.
Um, so that's kind of I don't know it's the combination of exploring the concept and the way you can edit it that gets me to want to make a video.
All right, that's really interesting. So going further than just making a video on X, like really, I guess making it your own, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
That's
think yeah,
fantastic.
that's a
I was also
good
going to
idea.
say, for anybody who doesn't know, the Backrooms is this thing that blew up on the internet like not that long ago, right? Like when did it really gain popularity?
Say about a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's oh, you can explain it if you like. Yeah.
sure. So I think it started. It's an urban legend about this sort of alternate reality that lives next to ours. You could it's like the upside down in Stranger Things, the alternate dimension, which is made of which is made up of different levels, and you sort of arrive there by no clipping out of reality, which is when you apparently fall through reality. And that sort of started when an anonymous person posted just an image of like what looked like I don't know, like an office which had like you know really like yellow walls
Yeah.
and carpets and fluorescent lights. So
Kind
it
of like
was this like
those like really creepy hallways that you see in like just very bland apartment buildings and like
yeah,
offices and like you said and stuff that's just but like yellowish like you said and
exactly.
just really ominous feeling.
and really bleak. You know,
Yeah.
it's all the same. Um, and they sort of created the concept of the backrooms. They said that when you no clip out of reality, when you fall through reality, you end up in that sort of place where the eeriness of it is that you're all alone in a ginormous place that looks exactly the same. And if you don't die of craziness, you know, if the craziness doesn't get to you, then there's also a monster roaming around. So,
Yeah.
and then that's sort of how it started, and people expanded on that. They expanded on the story of how it works, where it is, you know, how it was created, and then people started adding, you know, more levels to it, and that sort of got me really interested.
Yeah. Okay, I see. And then
I
you
think it's
did
a
two
really cool
videos.
concept.
It is a really it is a really great concept. And you did two mock videos on the back rooms, right?
Yeah, so I did a trailer, um, and then I did two episodes
Yeah.
of building two different levels, and that was supposed to be a whole series, but then the burnout set in like really fast.
That's understandable.
So I didn't get to finishing it because it's like I was saying, like I don't get the urge to edit a mock video anymore because of how many times I've done it.
Yeah.
That now at that point I'd done two consecutive videos where I'd edited them almost exactly the same. And since I had to stick to that concept, I didn't want to do it again. So
That's understandable.
I decided to stop.
All right. So you're
But it could have been
gonna
cool to keep it going.
yeah, absolutely. But it's not worth like making yourself not enjoy what you're doing just to keep the consistency of that, right?
Yeah, that's what I said to myself. I was sort of conflicting because I really liked the end result and I liked the idea of like building a story, you know, building a series because it was the first time I was actually doing a series on YouTube. So I liked doing all of that, and obviously I liked seeing the views rack in because the first episode was my most viewed video.
Really?
Yeah, well, full length video because I don't really count YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, that's fair because those are designed to just get tons of views, so that makes sense.
Exactly, yeah. So that first video got 14,000 views.
Wow.
Still, it's still growing like decently consistently. I think it first blew up and got to like 5, 6,000, and now over the past few months, it's just been growing in the background. And the
That's
second one,
fantastic.
and the second one is also growing in the background now, but it's at almost 8,000 views.
Damn. That's really good. It's just like, it's kind of I mean, I guess the term people use is kind of passive income, but it's like a passive video where it's not just like a news
Yeah,
video that will just you watch it once and then you'll never see it again. It's something that will, pretty much like always be relevant to see because it's not dedicated to like just one new thing happening. So it'll just kind of keep growing slowly in the background, which is a great kind of
exactly.
video to
Yeah,
make.
yeah, and then I think that's how it happens with a lot of series
Hmm.
because I know for example if you look up Lego Backrooms, my video is the second or third result.
Really?
So that
Wow.
immediately comes up. And the thumbnail, I think that's it's pretty obvious, but the thumbnail of a video is really important to
Very.
decide whether somebody clicks on it or not. But if you look up Lego Backrooms, you see my thumbnail, which is saying building the entire backrooms in Lego, and you're like, how? You know, it,
Yes.
it was clickbait, obviously. I was never gonna build like there's infinite levels. I was never gonna build all of the levels.
Yeah.
But you see that thumbnail and you see the title, and you're like, wow, I want to watch this.
Of course. Yeah. I don't think that's like
Because
necessarily clickbait though, because there's clickbait which is promising something that's just totally not what you're gonna do, but then there's doing what is normal for YouTube, which is I forget the word, but it's kind of just like making the title more exciting. You're still delivering
yeah,
what you said, like you're still building the backrooms, but obviously it's like someone saying building the entire universe in Minecraft. That's a video. Of course, you're not really expecting them to build the entire universe, but
yeah,
it gets the idea across that you're doing something exciting and big with
big.
that.
Yeah, you're doing something big, which is what I considered the series to be because I was gonna do 9 episodes, and in the end, since I was stacking all of them, it was gonna
Mm.
look like a massive tower. So it was gonna be something big and something exciting and something never done before because I know before I made those videos, whenever I looked up Lego Backrooms, only stop motions would come up. And
Ah,
I really
yeah.
wanted to see a Lego Backrooms mock because I think it's such a cool concept, and I love Lego, and I really wanted to see the two being combined because I think it could turn out really well. So then I was like, you know
Absolutely.
what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it.
That's fantastic.
Um,
Kind of filling in the gap that you'd like to see filled yourself, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's happened to me on more than one occasion. Seeing something that I think would translate really well into Lego and something I'd really want to see, and it not having been done yet. And so I decide to do it.
That's
Um,
fantastic. I was going to say, so you're not going to do any more videos on the back rooms, but are you still planning to do more mock space stuff of them, or are you kind of done with that for now?
I haven't really looked at the backrooms again since I made those videos because I still get a lot of comments saying like you should build this level or you should build that level because a lot of people were complaining that doing the first nine wasn't the best idea because a lot of the
Hmm,
best levels aren't in those first nine. And so instead
interesting.
of doing it systematically and doing them in order, I could have done, a random array of levels that could be better than others. So
Okay,
maybe if one day I look into those levels that people are suggesting I do, like I think there's one called level fun, which is one I got suggested a lot, which is like apparently it sort of looks like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's like an ominous like birthday party
I see.
sort of thing. Or like the pool rooms, which is just an abandoned like public pool indoors which
Ugh,
is all like piled off like the inside of a pool would be. So yeah, so
interesting.
there's a few levels that people suggesting I do, which maybe one day if I sort of revisit it and get back into it, there's a chance I'm inspired to build them, and there's a chance I make a video on it. But for the foreseeable future, I'm not really looking at it so far. But
All right.
it's possible. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna make another backrooms video.
Absolutely. The possibility is always there. Well,
Yeah.
that's great to hear. All right. So now a little bit more about you. So first off, how old are you?
I just turned 17 last week,
Fantastic.
and I'm in my last year of school.
All right.
So I'm going
Great.
to university next year.
Wow, that is exciting. I was gonna say, do you like see Lego in your future anywhere besides the YouTube side of it? Like, do you want it to be a part of your life in any
Um,
other kind of way?
well, the dream is to work there, I
It
think
is.
a lot of people have that dream, but my dream is to work there. Um, which is
Okay.
sort of one of the reasons I keep up the YouTube and Instagram because I don't want to fall out of the habit and I want to keep building up this like portfolio that will eventually maybe help me get a job there.
Absolutely.
And if possible, I'd like to continue building throughout university, which I see as very difficult, but it'd be cool. But the dream
Just
is eventually to
time-wise?
work there. Yeah, time wise and distance wise, because obviously I can't bring
Mm.
everything with me.
Yeah, no, that
Um,
is definitely the issue. But
yeah,
I see. So yeah, working there is a dream. I get that, man. Same here. Hopefully we'll see each other there at the Lego headquarters in the future.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
So you'd like to work there. Would you like to, I'm assuming you'd like to design sets, right?
Yes, yes.
Are there any like specific themes that you'd like to design for? Or
Um, I would say either ideas or creator expert. I mean, yeah, they changed the name to icons. So ideas or
true, they did,
icons,
yeah.
just because of the variety of sets. It would be cool. I like a lot of a lot of the mocks I build are based on like intellectual property, so like movies and shows and stuff.
Okay.
Because I find it easier to build. Sometimes I find it easier to build from like reference pictures or videos than to just come up with it in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, no, totally.
But I feel like working for a specific theme, which is always based off of something, could be like repetitive because of how like restricted you are with what you can get
Mm.
because of you have to stick to the reference material. Whereas with icons and ideas, obviously ideas you have an existing fan design, but you can modify it, I think, to some extent, and you get like a huge variety
Hmm.
of builds, obviously. And then with icons, I don't know, I'm not sure how it works, but I think
Absolutely.
you just get a prompt, and you can do with it whatever you want. Like I assume you know the like with the modulars when they tell the designers what the building is going to be that year. I'm sure they don't tell them exactly like what it's supposed to look like, what the color scheme is going to be, that sort of stuff. So I think you get a lot more freedom like
Yeah.
creatively in those themes than in some of the other ones.
I see. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because, if you were to work in like say, like I know you're not a Ninjago fan, but just using Ninjago as like an example, for there, I mean, you're gonna be doing a lot of giant motorcycles, mechs, and dragons. And if you're not into that stuff, then that's gonna get boring
Yeah,
after a while.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, with the
which
with the icons and
sorry, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, what you're saying.
I was just gonna ask you what theme you would work in.
Personally, I'd like to do I mean, I think icons could be cool, but for me, I mean, if Ninjago is still around by that time, then I'd love to work on that because, I've been a fan ever since I was little. And original Lego themes generally, whichever ones are around, more specifically like action themes. So, things kind of similar to like Monster Fighters, Alien Conquest, Exo Force, all those kinds of things. I really like mechs and dragons. So anything that has to do with mechs and dragons, I am happy to do. So yeah, I think I know a lot of people like are like, "Oh my God, we're getting another Lego mech." I think I'm one of the few people
Yeah.
that's actually like, "Yeah," every time a new mech comes out. So
And no Monkey
yeah, I
Kid?
def. Oh, well, yeah, obviously, if Monkey Kid was around then too, but I have no idea if it's gonna last, that long. But hopefully it
Yeah,
does, because I
fair.
love that theme so much.
Yeah. I actually don't have any Monkey Kid sets, but they always look really appealing.
I'd recommend getting some because
I'll
the
have to pick
build is
some
like
some up. Yeah, so you've sort of convinced me. I watched your video about why we should give the theme a chance the other day, and then it was pretty
really.
convincing. It was really well made,
Oh my
yeah.
God, I'm so glad to hear that.
It was a really good video, and it was really convincing to for me to buy Monkey Kid because it is a really cool theme. Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that. I'm glad that that has actually, worked with some people. I was hoping that that would work, so I'm very glad.
Yeah, it was
All right.
persuasive.
So, do you have any Lego hot takes or unpopular opinions? Just generally.
Um, I'll need to think about that one. I think a lot of mine. I think a lot of mine aren't. I think maybe they were hot takes, but now a lot of people are sort of agreeing with those. Like for
Really?
example, I think that Marvel sets are super overrated and really overpriced. But I think a lot of
Hmm.
people are starting to catch on to that. Like, because I think they
True. True.
especially with the new price increases, they're making a lot of not very good sets with not very good minifigures for very high prices.
Mm-hmm.
Like the best example is obviously the Iron Man Armory, which is
Yeah.
somehow
Oh
90
God.
bucks.
That set is
Yeah, you're
so
getting like
badly priced.
I know exactly. You're getting like a few little like window pieces stacked onto each other, a single badly designed car, and like six or seven minifigures, half of which aren't even exclusive, and you're paying 90 bucks for that? That's crazy.
It is
It's
so awful.
unbelievable.
I mean, it really is. And like, Marvel was already not the best before the price increase, but after
Yeah.
that, now it's just like, all right, sure, like whatever. We're done for, I guess.
No,
You either you
exactly.
stop
Yeah.
buying Marvel or you find a way to get the money for it. Like it's one of those two.
And also the minifigures really annoys me because I'm sure a lot of people get a lot of Marvel sets for figures because the figures would be so cool to
Yeah.
get. But there's so many of them that are so like lackluster, like missing the most
Mm-hmm.
basic things like leg design, like leg printing. You know,
Yeah.
like sure, don't give me arm printing or side of leg printing, but at least arm, that's the least they can do. Or, reusing the same generic minifigure faces and same like generic hair pieces instead of making new ones that would be so much better. So it's always
Oh,
like a
yeah.
hit or a miss. Like you have sets like the Guardians ship, which is awesome. It's a
Absolutely.
fantastic build. You're getting like a really big set for like 160 bucks because it was a lot bigger than I thought it would be after I'd built it.
Yeah,
And
it's giant.
you're getting a pretty good minifigure selection, and I think it's well priced. But then you also have sets like the Armory or like the new Black Panther wave that are just the entire opposite.
Yeah, it's really sucks that that's been happening with it recently. And I know the excuse that they give is always like, we split a budget between Marvel and DC because it's all under like the superheroes category. But also DC hasn't been doing like anything these past like what, two
Exactly.
years? Like they've done a few things, but nothing that would really like
Yeah.
suck that much of the budget, I wouldn't think anyways. So like
Yeah, like
if anything, like yeah.
yeah, this year they got a $10 set and then Marvel's getting like 15 or 16 sets and you're telling me that they need to split the budget and so they can't make them as good. It's
No.
that's
It's
just that doesn't work. And then last
no,
year like
it's
we had like 4 or 5 Batman sets, but that was the extent of it.
yeah,
Um
exactly. And it's not like the DC sets have like incredible detail or anything. They're normal sets, right? So I
exactly.
couldn't imagine that they're
Especially
taking
this
that
one,
much
like
out of the budget.
this year's was a 4+ set. Like
Yeah,
you're not
no.
spending insane amounts of money to make fantastic sets if you're making one $10 4+ set. Like, and
Hmm.
I think the Batman sets were good. I like the Batmobile. I like the motorcycle chase. I think the Batcave was pretty good. But we
Yeah.
haven't
Oh,
really had
right.
anything impressive since, maybe the Tumbler. I think the $40 Tumbler was really cool.
Yes, that's a really good set, I can say. And
Yeah.
the I think the like classic Batmobile is also a pretty good set, but once again, it didn't have
Yeah.
anything like crazy detailed or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, once again, since we don't really see all the behind the scenes stuff, I guess there's only so much like we can say about it. But
Exactly.
we can still have opinions about it, and it doesn't seem to be lining up too well. I mean, honestly, like
That's true.
Marvel generally, I feel like has been stepping up its game a little bit more recently. But still, it's kind of like they go up and then just really hit rock bottom and then come up a
They
little
do.
bit and stuff like
They
that.
really do.
Like the most recently released wave with like the Quinjet and the $50 Hulkbuster, which is somehow better than the $550 one, is pretty good. Like they have some good ones there, but then they waste the budget on a $550 Hulkbuster that looks like a
Exactly.
toddler.
It's
And
things like that. And it's really annoying how they don't listen to the fans because the fans are saying, "No, we don't want the fifth Hulkbuster in 2 years." Um, if you're gonna make a
mm,
$500 set, maybe make something like Avengers Tower, which would be awesome. But
oh yeah, I
they
know,
don't
right? They could
they
have
don't
done
listen to
an
the fans.
amazing one.
They really could have.
It's yeah,
Imagine displaying a massive Avengers Tower next to your massive Daily Bugle.
yeah, yeah,
That'd be
man, that would be
crazy.
so awesome. That would be
Um,
that would be insane.
and they also like I think they sort of tease us because they give us like really good minifigures in the CMF, which obviously
Yeah.
that's the only thing you're putting money into. So obviously you're gonna get really detailed minifigures. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Because I think the Marvel CMF was really good, apart from like
Yeah,
Monica.
it was amazing.
Um, but I think it was really good. And then you're comparing those to sets like the Iron Man Armory, and you're like, how can you make such awesome detailed minifigures for once for the CMF, but then give us some like 1995 level detail for this $90 set? It's
Yeah,
just
it's a
crazy.
1995 detail. I love that. Yeah, no, it just doesn't feel like it makes sense. And honestly, like they're not losing any money. I feel like if it is budget problems with the themes, they could just give the theme a little bit more budget. Like I don't think they're losing out by
Yeah,
just upping that a little bit. And then you have things
exactly.
like you have original themes like Monkey Kid, which I assume don't bring in as much money because, they're not tied to an IP. But Monkey Kid, we get like side leg and arm printing really often, toe printing, things like that. Crazy detail on the minifigures. And we get variants of the minifigures that have never shown up in the show or anything. And
Yeah,
then Marvel is over here with blank legs for like 50% of their minifigures, and
exactly.
it's really odd.
Same with
But
Star
yeah.
Wars. Like Star Wars give leg printing to, they're like typical like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader minifigures, but then they'll completely ignore some others.
Yeah, it is definitely a bit annoying, but hey, hopefully I guess all we can do is just be vocal about it and hopefully it'll change eventually. Maybe the
Yeah,
price increase with Lego will make them go, "Okay, we can start putting a bit more into these sets now."
yeah. And I think the best thing you could do is the sets underperform, but even with the price increases, people are still buying them. So
Yeah,
that's not really doing anything. Like I'm not gonna stop
true.
buying
It's
Lego with the
just
price increase because I love Lego too much. But I know that that's probably the best thing I could do to protest. Because if I want Lego to realize that they're not doing too well, obviously the best you can do is show them that they're not racking in as much cash. But
yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
gonna.
But I feel like the issue with that as well is normally you'd think that would work, right? But what I've heard a lot of people point out is Lego seems to take that as, oh, you guys just don't want this kind of item. Okay, we just won't do that. And it's like, wait, no, that's not what we meant. Like with the Hulkbuster, like people are saying like, oh, like don't buy it, but then they're gonna be like, oh, so you don't want large scale sets? Okay then. Like, and it's like, no, that's
Yeah,
not what we're saying. But
and
yeah,
then
it's a
other
difficult
than
thing to
the
navigate.
yeah, and other than the Hulkbuster, you have the Black Panther bust, which was also
Uh
like a total miss.
Yeah, no, that was not good. If they at least like put on the box like Chadwick Boseman tribute or something like that, I feel like that would have done a bit better. But they didn't do that. So like, if it's not a tribute, what's the point?
They wasted $900 of the budget on two like extremely underwhelming sets. It's crazy how
Yeah,
they can make those
that's
decisions.
that's painful.
And I
I
think
feel
I
like
think that's
Marvel is
why
very much hit or miss.
yeah, I think like no matter how good the building experience is, you're not gonna have as many people who are willing to spend $550 on a set.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Like that's why I think middle price sets are so impressive, like the Guardians ship. You're getting the building experience of a lifetime and an incredible display value, and you're getting like some like a good amount of parts for a decent price. And that's much more
totally.
affordable for most people, and it's much more appealing. But then they release these like giants, like the Hogwarts Express. Like,
Yeah. Oh
who's gonna
man,
get that?
that thing.
Or the Eiffel Tower? Who's gonna spend $700 on a
Oh
one and
no.
a half meter 10,000 gray bricks? Who's gonna get that? It's wild.
No, absolutely. Only like the most dedicated of collectors in the world, and like, yeah, that's. And the thing is, I think the argument that a lot of people make is you could get something else that's even more detailed for that amount of money, or just a lot of sets. Like I went to like a fandom shop recently, and they had like huge, incredibly detailed statues of of like characters from pop culture that were around that price, and I think a lot of people, if they're into that, would more rather spend their money on that than the Eiffel Tower or Hulkbuster or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting comparison, I think.
Yeah. Or
But yeah,
that's why I love like the middle price sets. I think they're charming because you're getting
no, they're
like
really
the tall
good.
neck. I think the tall neck is awesome. It's $80. Now it's up to 90, but it was $80 for 1,200
Uh,
pieces with a minifigure with leg printing and sidearm printing and an exclusive hairpiece and just a really nice build
yeah.
to build and look at for $80, like 1,200 pieces. I think that's just, the whole package.
Exactly. It's perfect. And it's a really good mix between something for adults, teens, and even kids could enjoy that because you can take it off the
Yeah,
display base and just walk it around. So it's like it hits
exactly.
all the marks really well. Affordable, well detailed, everyone can enjoy it.
Exactly. And
It's
and they Lego needs to start seeing that those sell well because obviously those sets are going to sell better because they need to start
yeah,
making more of those because
they
those
do.
are sort of like the best sorts of sets. I think like the Buzz Lightyear ship as well. That one's $50 and
Yes.
a good it's like a good piece count and it has three well-detailed minifigures and it's a cool looking ship. I think that's another
Yeah.
example of a really good set for an affordable price. But
Absolutely.
unfortunately, they don't make nearly as much as those as they should.
No, definitely not. I guess the moral of the or what we're trying to get across to Lego is please more mid-priced sets that are well detailed The occasional giant set like the Daily Bugle or something is really cool, but we don't need a $450 Lego toddler. Thank you.
Yeah, or like what was I gonna say? I think the best example of those are ideas or Minecraft sets.
Yeah.
I think I think
I
idea sets are always like super well priced.
the
Like the
yeah, I think they can be.
the treehouse, 3,000 pieces was originally 200 bucks, and it's just a
Right.
massive build, and it's a really good build. And it has no stickers, which is
Really?
it's a godsend.
Damn.
Or like the Jazz Quartet, which I just got last week. That one's a really cool build, seeing it all come together. It uses
Yeah.
like it has a bunch of like cool pieces in different colors, and it's 1,600 parts for 100 bucks with a really good display
Yeah,
value as
it's
well. So I think the
yeah,
ideas line is like a really hit. It's like a really well hitting line
it hits the mark.
for consumers. Yeah. Same with Minecraft. Minecraft never has stickers. You're always getting like good value for what you pay for. Like, the $10 sets, those are like
Yeah,
200 pieces. You get four minifigures in $10 sets. I think that's insane. Um,
that is really good. I find it interesting that people, like the Minecraft set so much because while I enjoy Minecraft, I actually have never bought one of the sets. I have pieces that I've gotten from like secondhand lots, but I've never bought one of the sets, mostly because it's just like it's a bunch of like two by twos and two by fours mostly, and I'm
yeah.
surprised that people like it as much as they do. But that's
So,
interesting.
yeah. So you don't get like an incredible building experience because obviously you're using a block system to build something from
Yeah,
a blocky game. Obviously, you're not going to get incredible stuff. But I think the value of what you're getting is really good. Like I got the bee farm recently, which is
yeah,
it's 20 bucks and you're getting a baby sheep, a villager, a minifigure with with exclusive prints and an elytra and eight bees. Like
yeah.
that's insane. And then like a cool looking set too. You're getting two trees, you're getting a little farm. Like it's incredible value. Or like the $10, the pufferfish set. That
Yeah,
one
that one's good.
you're getting Alex, you're getting a drowned with a trident, you're getting an adult pufferfish, and you're getting a baby pufferfish for $10. Like I think no matter how like underwhelming the building experience is, you're always getting great value for them.
Definitely. You get a lot of stuff to flesh out your world, and it
Yeah,
goes together. Like you can also connect the sets once again to make it feel like you have a whole world. Whereas the Mario line, you put it together and you have a bunch of lines and like squares. But we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, absolutely. You can add to it, I guess, a lot, and it
yeah.
feels very substantial because I mean the blocks do make them bulkier. And I will say the one Minecraft set that I do really want is the llama village. It's so stupid and I love it so much.
It looks so cool.
It
It
does. It
looks
looks cool,
awesome.
right? Like it's a silly concept, but it looks really cool and has so much space. And like it's a
Exactly.
cool set. I really like it.
Yeah. Um, And then like for this new wave, like I think a lot of the sets look cool, but the one I'm eyeing again is the $10 set because it comes
Yeah.
with the Lego frog, man. It's a Lego frog.
It,
Like you can't
exactly.
pass up on a Lego frog.
You gotta have the Lego frogs.
You
And
got the creeper, you got the frog, the baby slime, the Alex, and the piece of TNT in $10 and a cool looking mangrove tree. I think that's awesome.
yeah, it's a pretty good $10 set. And then what was it? The last one that we got the Russian creeper, aka the mid explosion creeper.
Russian creeper, yeah. See that one as well. That one was a Steve with a creeper, and you had a baby chicken and a baby pig. Um, but then it also came with like a spyglass um, and like an iron block and some sugar cane. Like you're always getting great value, like other than like minifigures, obviously, but then um, other like cool pieces too that you can add to your world.
Yeah, no, it's a great theme to get a lot of, I think, and put together. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's those are some
and
themes that do it right.
it's awesome like packs like if you're into mock building like my latest mock is Minecraft and I have like three or four Minecraft sets, but that was more than enough to like have some pretty big variety in the build because of just the variety of like figures and pieces and features you get in such cheap sets. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's really fantastic. Okay, so how did you get into the Lego community and more specifically, I guess, the TFOL community? Because you're friends with quite a lot of TFOLs. I saw you've done a lot of collaborations and stuff like that.
So I kind of got lucky because I got the best of both worlds when I joined. So first of all, I think I joined at a great time because with quarantine, I think a lot of people had the same idea as me, and they started grinding as
Hmm.
well. So that's I not only did I meet a lot of like newcomers, but I also met a lot of older members because of that. So I got really lucky because around the time I joined, I had two consecutive mock competitions,
Oh,
which is
yes,
something you
right.
like barely see nowadays. Like I haven't seen
True.
a mock competition that isn't from the same person doing one over and over in like ages. So I got really lucky because that's how I met TD Bricks. I had the TD Bricks mock competition.
Oh, wow, you
Um,
met him. Okay, that's really cool.
yeah. Well, not in real life, but like we talked a bunch
Yeah,
of
no, no,
times.
no, online. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
when he had like 50,000 subscribers.
Yeah, now he's at 1 million.
Yeah, now he's over a million, yeah. But I joined his mock competition. I wasn't even close to winning, obviously, because it was like the second mock I'd ever built. And that's how I met a bunch of people, including him. And then the day
Okay.
after that, I had another mock competition from a guy who doesn't make videos anymore. His name was the Jackhammer. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff before. He makes some
Yeah,
really good
he made
mocks,
really
but
great Stranger Things mocks. That's how I found out about him
ah,
because of
it
his
all
Stranger
ties
Things
back to
mocks.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, most of it does. Yeah. So I had his mock competition, and then he and TD Bricks had like friends in common. So that's how I sort of met with all of them, and then I became really good friends with. Have you heard of Peter's Pieces?
Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah, like he barely makes videos anymore, but he kind of got back into Lego. He used to be into Lego, and he got back into it around the same time as me. So we became like really good friends.
That's
And he
fantastic.
became friends with like the entire TD Bricks like friend group. So like,
Wow.
like the Jackhammer, TD Bricks, Sacred Bricks, Cowie's Creations, Avaki, Brickspiration, all of those guys.
Yeah,
So he became friends with them, and he was kind of my link with them. And that's
I
how I met
see.
all of them. Um, and then I sort of like grew by myself from there, and I already knew enough people to have collaborations if I wanted to, and those obviously helped. So I had a few collaborations with some people who most of them don't even do Lego anymore. Like,
Really?
did you know Epic a Pig?
Yeah, Epic a Pig. I've seen his stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, Epic a Pig. Like he doesn't build with Lego anymore and doesn't make videos anymore. But I did a few
He took a
collaborations
break,
with
didn't
him.
he?
I think, but it's been a long break. It's been like over a year.
Oh, damn.
Um, so I don't know if it's a break or if it's like if he's gone. But yeah, so I had a collaboration with him, and then that sort of like grew from there. But then the problem is the community sort of like that specific community sort of died down.
Okay,
So like TD Bricks and Sacred Bricks turned to like challenge videos and grinding to get as
absolutely.
many views as they could. And so they like sort of diverted away from mocks. And then most of the other people I knew like quit or took like long breaks or barely upload anymore.
I see.
But then
That
the
sucks.
reason I said I got the best of both worlds at the beginning is because at the same time I became good friends with I don't know if you seen him Tallest Grain.
I think I
Like
think I've seen one of his
he's like friends with
videos.
like the Brick Patch and stuff.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
so
no,
all
I
of
know
them.
the Brick Patch.
So I became like really good friends with Tallest Grain. And he also eventually became really good friends with Peter's Pieces and Epic a Pig, but at the same time, he got into more of the like photography and like custom figures side of Lego,
Okay.
whereas I was more on the mock side. So he became friends with like, the Brick Patch, Yellow Bricks. I'm trying to think of more. They all have like a big, like Snom Nom and stuff. They all have a big group for that.
Yeah.
And that's how sort of I got to know them. I never became friends with them or anything. Like Buzz Brickier, those sorts of people. Um, I never became friends with them, but that's sort of how I met them and how I kind of started following more that side of Lego when the other side
I
sort of
see.
died down. So I kind
Okay.
of like got the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So you really got into it. I guess it started off by just participating in things, right? And then you met people through that.
Yeah. It was a really good in because now I don't see that being done anymore. So
Yeah, no.
I think with people who are just joining now, it's a lot harder for them because now that you don't have like that sense of I think that sense of community isn't like as present anymore. So now it's harder to join
Yeah.
through like participating in things. So it's that or you like do something like revolutionary or fantastic on your first go, which you're likely not to do because you're just starting out. Like I obviously didn't do that as most people didn't because it's, the beginning. So I think it's a lot
Yeah.
harder now to get into the community.
It's getting started is always the difficult part with this stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I will say though, that I see there's a really big, TFL community on Instagram specifically. I think they do a lot of stuff on there, stop motion photography, things like that. But yeah, I found some TFLs who do some really good stuff as well. If I can find their accounts real quick,
On
pull
Instagram or
this up.
YouTube?
YouTube. I mean, there's like a ton on Instagram, but I noticed
Yeah.
it's less on YouTube, but I've still found some really good ones. Like there's the B3. I don't know. Have you seen
Yeah.
this stuff
I watched
before?
his video today, his new video.
Yeah, he does fantastic editing and his
His like
series are really
the
fantastic.
23ville and the 22ville. I love his videos.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
making like a whole like a town, I guess, based on each
Yeah.
character in the new minifigure line. It's such a fantastic idea. Yeah, he's just one of the many who I've found on YouTube specifically who are
But
really coming up and doing quite a lot of good stuff. So
yeah,
yeah,
but you're
there's
right. I think there's RJM Bricks.
mm, I don't know if I know RJM Bricks.
He's also like blown up really fast. I remember at the beginning he had like I don't know, a couple hundred subscribers and then he like had one video that blew up. And then a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, now his channel's going to be
Oh,
dead because he has one video which has like 50,000 views, but all his others get like less than 100. So now he's going to have a dead channel." But then now he's at like
no.
300,000 subscribers and he gets consistently like over a million views in his videos.
Oh my God, I just pulled up his account. I have seen that profile picture before. I think it was recently recommended to me, his one of his videos on YouTube. Yes,
Really?
wow, his stuff looks really good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so his videos are really good, but he had like sort of like a weird start. And I sort of like came across him again after he'd blown up. So it was really like flabbergasting to see him because um I went from like watching him occasionally at the beginning when he had like um I don't know, like maybe almost 1,000 subscribers to suddenly coming back to finding him like a few years later when he already had like 200,000.
Yeah, it's always kind of like crazy and exciting to see when someone like that just blows up over like such a short amount of time. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, I realized I have actually seen one of his videos. I built a working Lego driving simulator.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic video, and yeah, no, his stuff is really good as well. So there's
Yeah.
people like him, and what else
There's people I
is
follow who used to be TFOLs or now are AFOLs. Um like I
true,
mean
true, but they like
TD
just
bricks
over
and
the
sacred
mark.
bricks. Now they're technically AFOLs, but I came across them when they were TFOLs.
Yeah, I see. But
Or
yeah,
like
no, that's.
do you know Brick Science?
I was just about to mention him. Yeah, his stuff is also fantastic.
Yeah, I love his videos. And I guess he isn't technically a TFOL anymore, but
He's close though. I mean, like I don't
yeah,
actually know his exact age, but
but
I'm pretty sure
but
he's
he like
he's not
he's
that
over
far
18.
off.
But yeah, he's close.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is. And there's been like this kind of surge on YouTube with specifically TFOLs I've noticed who are kind of doing Lego videos more for a general audience that aren't huge Lego nerds, rather than what most Lego YouTubers, myself included, do, which is kind of doing videos for
Yeah.
people who already know the general basics. Like Brick Science, he does, you know, he does like engineering videos, which anybody can get, and he'll explain certain techniques as he's doing them. And TD
Yeah.
Bricks and Sacred Bricks and all these guys have really been blowing up, I think, because they've kind of been making kind of more general Lego videos that not just Lego fans will enjoy, but other people will go, "Wow, that's really cool," or "I've never seen that before," like cursed Lego
Yeah.
pieces and things like that.
They've sort of trend like TD Bricks and Sacred Bricks, I think is the best example. They sort of transitioned from doing like really like well-made detailed mocks with really like polished videos to doing like, really high-paced, chaotic editing of like really like
Yeah,
clickbaity, like engaging titles. That's
engaging
like what
titles. I think that's
yeah, that's
especially
like
what it
what the
is.
YouTube algorithm wants now. Like the like 100 different Lego building ideas or like cursed Lego minifigures, stuff like that. That's like not only applicable to Lego, you're right. It's more generic.
Not
Um,
even generic, but it's more like it's general, where like you don't need to know that
yeah.
much about
Yeah,
Lego
that's
to
what I
really be
mean.
able to understand and enjoy it. Yeah,
And I think that's
it's
how it
really
I think that's how they got out there, as like that's how they really grew really fast because it reached a wider audience.
very much so. They were able to kind of take what they know and adapt it to what is trending right now, and they did that.
Yeah.
They did that really well. But then again, I mean, you don't just have to do things like that as well to get big, because you have other people like well, I guess she's Holly on film now, who, I mean, she blew up like right when she came back to YouTube. Now, she has grown a bit more gradually, like over time. It hasn't been as much of an immediate thing, but her stuff, like, they're for Lego fans, and even then, she's
Yeah.
still very big now. People like her and Tiago Catarino, he doesn't do really the type of like style of videos like TD Bricks, Sacred Bricks, and those guys do, but he's kind of like he's taken that kind of editing and really interesting like video making and put it in a format that is more for Lego fans, but that's still taken off
Yeah.
because it's really well done. So it's interesting to see how it's just
Because
about
he'll
kind of getting it's what?
Sorry, I was just gonna say about Tiago, like he covers the aspects of a Lego set that fans are more looking out for than like general
Exactly.
people who like casually enjoy Lego. Like he'll talk more about the like, the price per part ratio, the
Yeah.
building techniques, the display value, the playability, the variety and like color of pieces you're getting. I think he'll cover more that like thoroughly than some other people who do more general like reviews for people who are just casually into Lego.
Absolutely. And he's managed to kind of do it in a way that has, really he's growing quite fast, and his content is really good. And he's also done other things like talking about specific pieces, like for example, the power of Lego jumper plates or the underrated
Yeah,
headlight Lego brick, things like that.
yeah,
And it's topics that haven't like some of them are like reviews and stuff, but he puts his own personality and view on it in a way that's really engaging, I feel. So he
yeah.
does a
You're
really
right.
good mix of stuff there.
That's true.
So
And
it's I
he's
think it's a
he's one
really
of
good.
the he's one of the Lego YouTubers I watch the most.
Yeah, his stuff is really fantastic. And I think it's kind of a great example where you can get really big, really whatever, depending on like whatever kind of content you do. You don't just have to do the trending stuff. It's just how you go about it, I'd say, and figuring out a way to make yourself kind of stand out from everyone else doing content and things like that. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think my favorite my favorite Lego YouTuber right now is Cheesy Studios.
Easy, yes, his stuff, his content is really nice to watch.
It is. It's really clean.
Yes, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. It's really clean.
Like he has those like his talking is really smooth. He has that like calm Minecraft music in the background. He's got
Yes,
he's got the nice filmography. The way he shoots, I think is really calming. And then
it is.
the way he just takes you through like his entire build process is really like cool.
It really is. And like it's just it's a good mix of everything really. And I haven't seen like
Yeah.
a whole ton of his necessarily build videos, but the ones that I've seen a lot more are like his going over like specific themes like power miners and dino attack and things like that. And I find it just really interesting just the way he talks about the themes and stuff like that and his
Yeah.
views on it.
For me, it's
He
sort of the other way.
yeah.
Because I really closely follow his Minecraft series.
Okay.
Because that's sort of what got me into his videos is watching the Minecraft series, and I've seen like all of them, and I eagerly await when the next one comes out. But it's they're like far and few between because I think I calculated it. He uploads like every 18 days those like Minecraft videos,
Okay.
so he really like keeps you waiting.
I see. He does, but it's totally worth it because
It
I've
is,
seen some of his Minecraft mocks and they are incredible. Like they look
yeah,
so good.
yeah, for real, exactly. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
I think him and Tiago, and like do you know Tommy Seabricks?
oh, of course. He's like he's up there with one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, me too. Like they're the ones I watch
I
most. So
look
I tend to like prefer like AFOL videos to TFOLs because nowadays most TFOLs that I know are the ones making the like more general content that's less for like big fans of Lego. So I
I
think
see.
maybe I just prefer content that's more targeted at like specific fans of Lego. I don't know.
Maybe. There's I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it's kind of interesting because a lot of the TFOLs that have been getting really big in the YouTube space anyway have really been like I don't know if capitalizing is the right word, but kind of like they understand like they're part of the current I guess trending generation of like people on the internet. So they're like
Yeah.
really in on everything that's happening and they're able to use
Yeah,
that to
completely.
their advantage, I guess, in a really good way. And
Completely, yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. But there that being said, there are I found quite a lot of TFOLs who don't just do that, who do other kinds of builds, for example, like the B3. And there's another one who I can't find right now, but
But
he does some really good videos.
I don't know if AFOLs don't do the thing TFOLs do of like understanding the algorithm and what's like popular right now and like capitalizing on it. I don't know if it's because they don't understand it or maybe it's just because they're more confident in what they do because they're
I
maybe more
think,
seasoned. They've been at it for longer and they really know what they enjoy doing. So I think more of them will prioritize sticking to their style and doing what they do rather than the TFOLs who are maybe like seeing how popular some of these videos are getting them and they'll do that instead.
yeah, I think you're right because I don't think it's that the AFOLs don't understand it. Like I'm pretty sure, like for example, Tiago, he very much understands what's going on in that world, but he's confident in what he does and he does it well and he sticks to that. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. So it's interesting to kind of see the different like sides of that and the kind of in-betweens of like TFOLs and AFOLs and stuff like that and where they kind of meet on similar ground and things like that. They've all got all the ones that have like kind of gotten really big have the common thing of they've really found something that works for their demographic and they do it well. And
Exactly. Uh-huh.
that's that's kind of I think
Yes.
that's one of the secrets to their success. They understand what they're talking about very well as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so is there anything like you'd like to see happen in the TFOL community? Like anything like them getting more recognition or something like that? Or is there some kind of thing that you'd like to see happen? Or do you think it's going steady so far?
I definitely think recognition is growing. Um, I don't know if it's because maybe it's because there's less new faces and more older faces growing.
I
So
see.
I think a lot of like we talked about like the B3 and like TD bricks and sacred bricks, they're all like suddenly growing.
Yeah.
So I think it's less so I think the TFOL community is definitely growing in popularity and fans of Lego will definitely watch a lot of that. Maybe even over other AFOL videos. But I do think that like other sorts of like aspects of it, like events maybe, those are more those are more like targeted at AFOLs, which I think is a shame.
Yes, absolutely.
Like like conventions, like store openings, the people, the influencers that Lego considers like popular, those are always like more AFOLs than TFOLs. I think
Yeah, they
AFOLs
are.
always have the bigger spotlight, and sometimes it's entirely deserved. Like obviously, I think Tiago
Yeah,
is definitely deserving of it, but then there's others where I think TFOLs would also do a great job of representing the community.
very much
And they
so.
do and they
Yeah.
do an equally good job or maybe an even better job than AFOLs.
Of like representing like
Yeah,
Lego and the community, you mean? Yeah. I
exactly.
think so because they're really kind of like the sweet spot mark between, still close to being a kid, but not being a full-grown adult either. And yeah, no, I think Lego should really focus on that more because that seems like a really like it's kind of a gray area, because also a lot of TFOs, kind of get out of it around like 13-ish or somewhere around there because it becomes not cool, quote unquote. So,
Yeah,
I think it would very much be beneficial, I guess, if they focused more on that, which
exactly.
I at first I was gonna say they did with LegoCon, but that was more for like 12-year-olds and stuff. But still it
Yeah, that's more the kids.
very much so. But it would. I see what you're saying. It would definitely be good if they put a bit more of a spotlight on the teen community because they do some awesome stuff, and they're really growing a lot right now after, all the lockdowns and things like that. It gave a lot of the teens kind of the time to look into it and find out that yeah, they enjoy it and it is cool. You're not cool for being into that.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so what do other people say when you tell them about your Lego passion? Is it like, "Oh, that's so cool," or like, are they confused by it, or what is kind of the general reaction that people get when you tell them that you're into this?
Um, I think it's different now than it used to be maybe a few years ago. Because a few years ago it was a lot more of like, poking fun at it or like being just
Yeah,
entirely like surprised,
I
just
see.
being like, what do you mean? Do you like play with Lego on camera? You know,
God.
that kind of stuff. I think it used to be like a lot more of that a few years ago when I just started out, especially since I didn't have, you know, talent to show for it, because when I showed people what I showed, obviously at the time I was proud of it because it was the best I could do, but it wasn't something people exactly saw exactly as impressive, so I could never show them the like true potential. But now it's I think a combination of people maturing because obviously the people around me are growing older as well. It's a
Yeah.
combination of people maturing, and so having a more mature reaction, but then also seeing the results. And I think
Yeah.
that something that I'm not very happy with is that the fact that I suspect the reason a lot of people choose to like not make fun of it anymore isn't because they've seen how cool Lego really is, or they've seen how how I can achieve some things that look really cool and how anyone could. But it's more just the fact that they see I have subscribers. You know, I think people
Hmm.
now I think that's something I inadvertently hold over people when they instead of making fun, they respect it, because now people like
Yeah.
6 months ago, people would see my channel and they'd see like 450 subscribers and they'd like laugh about it a little bit, even though what I was
Oh God,
doing
that's
was
not
already
cool.
cool enough to impress people. But then
Yeah.
nowadays people see it and they see 1900 subscribers and they're like, wow, that's paying off. He's getting like insane views on his videos and he's growing really fast. So most people will choose to not make fun of it. And I think it's more because of them seeing, the subscribers and the views rather than the talent or the how
Yeah.
cool it is. But then there's, the few people who actually take the time to watch a video or look at a post and they'll like tell me they appreciate it and acknowledge the like that they think it's cool and like congratulate me. But that's like much rarer than the other cases.
I see. Well, I'm glad to hear that people do still the people you've like, shown your channel to and stuff. that there are, still a handful of them that do genuinely take the time to look into your stuff and see it because it is really cool. And it is just a really stupid thing that a lot of, I think teens especially, because I think adults actually do understand that it's cool, right? At least I'd
Yeah,
say a good amount of them do.
I
Like
think
they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
damn, that's
a lot more adults will than kids. Yeah.
yeah, totally." Because they're like, "Oh, I wish I kept my Lego or whatever." And then they're like, "Why was like I think a lot of the
Yeah.
time I've heard them say like they thought it wasn't, cool when they were younger and now they highly regret getting rid of their stuff. So, I think they
And I see a lot more
oftentimes
adults buying Lego now. Like they might not even be like real fans or stuff, but they'll just enjoy Lego, and that's something that I think a lot of
yeah,
people secretly do. Like I'll see some of the
very much.
people some of the same people who like occasionally make fun of my channel look at like a really cool looking set and say that it looks really cool or that they want it. Like
Oh
a
my God,
friend
the irony.
exactly. Like a friend of mine occasionally like made fun of me for like owning so much Lego and dedicating so much time to it and having a Lego channel and
Ah,
stuff. But at the same time, we were at a store like a year ago and he saw the grand piano and he thought it looked awesome and he ended up getting it for his birthday. So I'm like,
wow. Okay.
what's wrong with why is it okay for you to like think a set looks really cool and want to get it and end up buying it for your birthday and building it and having fun with it, but then it's not okay for me to, do my thing. I
Absolutely.
think
I think
I've
it's
seen
just
people who are like that, who are, you know, don't see the irony in the situation.
very much so. I guess you just when you see them do that, like, like make fun of it or something like that and they get it themselves, you just kind of gotta laugh and be like, well, I guess, you do think it's kind of cool. It's interesting how that is. I don't
Yeah.
completely know why, I guess teenagers specifically will do that. Well, once, obviously aren't into Lego will do that. Because I guess
Well,
they don't understand that it's like things like it's exactly the same as other kind of things that they enjoy collecting. Like so many of them will have Funko collections or action figure
yeah,
collections. And it's the
exactly.
same thing at the end of the day. You're collecting some kind of representation of something you enjoy,
Except,
right? Except
except a lot of Lego fans do something with the Lego, you know? They'll do mods,
exactly.
they'll do mocks, they'll do something, they'll do videos, they'll take pictures. Whereas like action figures or Funko collectors, the most they can do is display it, you know? Like
Very much so. And
there's
like
even more potential in Lego than any of those other things. So it should really be the opposite. It should be Lego fans making fun of Funko fans.
yeah, no, absolutely. Like I completely see what
But
you're
I think
saying
I
there.
think the reason a lot more teenagers make fun of the Lego as a hobby than adults is because teenagers have just recently grown out of the kid phase and they've
Yes.
just recently grown out of Lego because I'm sure most kids nowadays grew up with Lego. A lot of kids,
Yes.
I mean, most kids that I know grew up with Lego. And so at this age, they've recently grown out of it and they've always known it as a toy, as something that they build and they play with and they destroy and stuff like that. So then seeing somebody who's their age who hasn't grown out of it, and even if they're not doing the same things with it, even if they're not like playing with it, they'll still see it as weird and childish because they're like, "What? That's what I used to do when I was like 7." And you're like
Exactly.
17. Why are you still doing that? But they've got to recognize that first of all, I'm not doing the same things that you used to do as a kid. I don't play with Lego. I build with Lego. And
You create
secondly,
with it, yeah.
if you enjoyed it so much when you were 7, why can't I enjoy it now, And also like maybe some of them are jealous because I think teenagers are less likely to have a hobby nowadays. Maybe I have a lot of friends who don't really have a specific hobby, so maybe they'll be jealous that I have
Really.
so much, like that I have something that takes up so much of my time, which means that I'm more productive and I'm less bored a lot of the time. Whereas they just rely on having to hang out with someone, which isn't always possible, and end up being bored more of the time. Or maybe they'll be impressed with how much time I can put into it because a lot of them are like drowning in homework and tests
Yeah.
and so don't have time for anything else. And I'm also in the same boat as them, but I make time for it because I'm passionate about Lego. And then they'll end up being
Exactly.
impressed, like, how do you have so much free time? And then all of that, like all of those feelings, I think end up translating into like jealousy and like being rude about it. And I'm like,
Exactly.
because they
I
have
see
no
what you're
better way of
saying.
expressing it.
I
I
think
think
that does happen a lot of the time.
instead of saying like it's so cool that you have something you're so passionate about and something you and something you have time for, they'll say like, oh my God, imagine having a hobby, and then or saying like, how do you even have time to do that? Don't you have like tests and stuff? Your life is so much more calm than mine because you have your life is so much less busy than mine because you have time to do that stuff. I'm like, no, instead of saying that, why don't you just say what you really mean?
No, very much so. I think people can be insecure about saying what they really mean. I think that happens with all sorts of things. And it's also, I think a lot of the I think something that I've heard before is, sometimes people saying something like, don't you have something better to do with your time? And it's like, this
Yeah,
brings me joy and it's creative. You're spending your time spending like 5 hours a day just scrolling through meaningless like TikToks or something. Like,
exactly.
what seems better to you, right?
Yeah, they're spending their time on TikTok, and then they're the ones who tell us, "Don't you have something to do better with your time?" Like, don't you? You're just scrolling on your phone for 4 hours and not doing anything about it.
Very much so. And I think one of the other things that, kind of makes them do that is I think most teenagers are in a hurry to become adults. So they think, things like Lego or, just things like that aren't cool or adult. And they think that adults don't have anything like that. And they're like, oh, why are you doing that? You're such a little kid when really they're just the ones acting really
Yeah,
immature. And adults will tell you that they're acting immature too, even if they don't collect that stuff. They're like, that's not being an adult. But whatever. And then when they get to adults, eventually they realize, damn, that was stupid. And, then they get into Lego
yeah,
or whatever it
and then
is.
they get into Lego themselves, or like I think that's also probably the reason why a lot of teenagers turn to like drinking and smoking because they see
Yeah,
that's what adults do, and so they'll want to do that too. So they feel more grown up, and it's also what they consider to be cool. So that's probably the reason why
100%.
they do that.
I very much think that's what it is. It's a rush to kind of, I guess, I don't know, just like to be perceived as cool by other people. And
Yeah,
it's not the reality of things. Do what you enjoy and your kind of people will see you as cool. The people that won't are people who just don't appreciate you as you are, right? So,
exactly.
so yeah, like just generally to anybody, just stay at what you're doing that makes you happy. If it's not hurting you or anyone else, just stick at it, right? Like, I think a lot of people as well are fans of Lego or other just hobbies or things like that in general, and they don't tell anybody because they're either afraid of being made fun of or they're just too shy or they think, oh, this is my little thing and I'm like one of the only people that does this. When really, there's a lot of people out there, and I think a lot of people are just kind of
There's
nervous to talk about it or share it.
yeah. There's a kid in my class who, well, in my year group, who I recently found out has a Lego stop motion channel. Um,
Really?
and he's like the last person I thought would do that because he's one of those guys who like parties every week and he like goes to the gym like 5 days a week, so he's like shredded.
My
And then one day
God.
I see on his Instagram story like new stop motion dropping soon, and I go to his channel and he actually has like some really good stop motions and he has like 8,000 subscribers. And like holy
What?
crap, how did I not know about this? He's the last person who seemed like he'd do something like that. But then maybe
Wow.
since he's like shredded, people see him as like better than them, so no one dares to like judge him about it.
That's really
Um,
interesting.
so less
Yeah.
people probably like maybe it's because less people know because he keeps it more on the down low than I do. But it's also possible that less people make fun of him for it because they respect him for his like gym grind or whatever.
That's really interesting that you say that. Hey, that could be it, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think you'll find that, well, you as in the general you people who are listening and stuff is like a lot more people are into nerdy stuff than you think. They just don't talk about it.
yeah,
And it's really normal and it's really great. And I think, a great way to put it, like with Lego collecting specifically, it's like art. People, little kids do art and stuff like that. You don't tell an artist, "Oh, you're still drawing? That's for babies. That's for little kids."
that's a
Right?
good
It's the
point.
same thing with
Yeah.
Lego. It's an art form,
Or
it's
like how
something
when
that's
you're a
creative.
kid, how when you're a kid you read books and then you still read books when you're an adult, but you're reading different books.
Exactly.
You're reading more mature books. Like when you're a kid,
Exactly.
you're playing with Lego Duplo or like Disney or 4 Plus or like Friends. And then when you're older, you're getting icons or ideas or other like more complex themes. And what you get out of it is also different, you know?
Very, very true. That's a great way of putting it. It evolves with you, right? And it's like
Exactly.
video games. When they came out, they were a thing for kids. Now nobody bats an eye when you say an adult plays video games, right? It's like, yeah, okay. And
Exactly.
so I think
Yeah.
Lego's very much the same thing. And I think with the, more like teen and adult focus sets, they are starting to slowly break down that kind of, I guess, viewpoint that people have. Some people can have, but
hmm
yeah. All right. So I think just to end this off, do you have any advice for fellow TFOLs?
Like in general or starting out?
Just in general, just advice for TFOLs, whether they're starting out or already in it, just anything.
I think I'm not the first to say this, but you know, do what you're doing for the right reasons. Don't I think you get a lot more out of it if you're doing it like because it's your passion or because it's what you like than if you're doing it for the views or for the fame because I think if you do it for the right reasons, you're playing the long game and you'll end up winning the race. It's like the tortoise and the hare. If you're doing it for the right reasons, you're the tortoise, and yeah, you'll see that in most cases your growth will be slow, but you'll also feel like you're working harder for it because every subscriber counts and every view counts, every like counts, and then you'll also have fun while you're doing it because you're doing what you want. But then if you're doing it for the wrong reasons where you want to get views, you're constantly grinding and you're not necessarily making the videos or the posts you want to make. And yeah, that'll get you the fame faster, most likely, but you're also more likely to burn out quicker. So eventually
Yeah.
you end up losing the race. And when you eventually get to that like maybe target you set for yourself, like when you say, "Oh, I want to get to 100,000 subscribers really as fast as I can." Maybe you'll get to 100 subscribers and you'll realize that's not what you wanted. You'll realize
Yeah.
that you're not happy that you'll get there and you're like, "Well, I reached my goal. Why am I not happy about it?" And it's cuz
Yeah.
you worked really hard and for something you weren't passionate about. And so if you find that you're not passionate about what you're doing, then try seeing what you are passionate about and maybe do that instead, or don't feel the pressure to post or make a video or build a mock if you don't want to, or if you're sticking to something, you don't have to stick to it if it's not what brings you happiness. And don't obviously the thing is don't let like the people at school, because I think this is mostly for TFOs, don't let people at school
Yeah.
or around you make fun of you for what you like to do, because as long as you like what you're doing, that's what matters the most, right? So why should it matter that a random kid who goes home and spends 4 hours scrolling through TikToks in the dark tells you that what you're doing is childish, you know? Don't
Very
don't
much
let that
so.
get to you. Think about what they're doing and think about how what you're doing is so much cooler.
Absolutely. That is
Yeah.
that's fantastic advice, man. That's really, really good. Honestly, just great life advice in general, that one is. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much for coming on, Zebrix. It was really
Thank you
great
so much
having
for
you.
having me.
And
It was awesome.
no problem. It was a pleasure. I love talking with you. And
Me too.
just before we end, do you have any social medias or other things you would like to plug specifically?
So I have a YouTube channel. It's called Zbricks. There is a space between the Z and the bricks, because I think
Okay.
somebody else exists without the space.
Yeah.
But mine has the space, and mine is also the one with the better profile picture. If anyone looks up my channel on YouTube, they'll see what I mean because there's another channel that I think occasionally comes up above mine. And I also have an Instagram, which is at z.bricks.
Awesome. Those things will be linked in the description below, and also some of the other stuff we've talked about will also be down there if you'd like to find any of it. All right. Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
all so much for watching.
And
It means, yeah.
subscribe to Doodle Bricks, obviously.
Thank you so much, man. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. It means the world. That's all for now, and we'll see you all later.